and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're working with this one. Hang on. I always forget to have the paperwork nearby. It is pattern 113557 over on friendshipbracelets.net. Going into this, I thought there was going to be trouble with the whole overall pattern. I thought it was going to be just a little too complicated. There's this weird middle section where there's like a 4x4 dark space, and I wasn't sure how to even approach this to be able to make it where it moves functionally really well. And I got into just starting it off to see kind of where it went, and I realized that as far as segment knotting goes, there are some real key points to kind of make it work. So if you're looking to try to make this and you want it to kind of move along quickly, kind of just watch how I do it, because the technique that I use kind of just fell into place. It just sort of just worked out really, really well. And you'll notice that I do favor the right knot. And I feel like when you do that, you end up using the strings a little bit more evenly. Things kind of work out, like as opposed to just going, changing up, I guess, as you're moving along. So, where I could, I did the right knot. Other places, obviously, the left knots are there because that's how the colors kind of move around a bit. But you have like two small rows, and then you have like a really long one, and then another two smaller ones, and it just kind of works out. And it turns out this is actually easier than I had imagined. This is actually, honestly, I think this is beginner friendly. And this is one of those really great beginner friendlies where you get to have a bracelet that looks much harder than it really is. I have seen some beginners here recently who are trying complex patterns, but they're complex with fewer strings, and they're struggling. It's coming out wrong. It doesn't look nice because they're doing something more complex than what they're ready for, but they don't realize it because they think, oh, well, it's only 6 strings. It can't be that hard. Well, that's not true. If there's a lot of zigzags involved, it doesn't matter how many strings are in the overall bracelet. It matters more what you have to do with them, right? So this is one of those patterns where it can look nice and complicated and make it look like you're mastering something without all that extra difficulty of trying to balance, zigzags and things like that. So this is really beginner friendly and nice. Now, mind you, I went with real poppy colors. They're neon. I don't know that the on the screen that it necessarily looks as bright as it does here in my hand. But I realized something. This is 3 colors, right? You get the background, which is black, and then I got a pink and an orange. But this also would have looked really good with just 2 colors. If you did whatever the pink and orange, if you did that in one color alone, I think that too would actually look really good with this pattern. So that's something you might want to try out. I don't know. I'm tempted to do it, but at the same time, there's like so many other patterns I want to play with and try out and do. So we'll see if I ever get around back to this. But it is, like I said, it's really super easy. I knocked this out in an hour, and I really kind of enjoyed it. Like, yes, I can do more complex bracelets. I have been known for doing more complex bracelets, but occasionally doing something like this, it just feels like a palate cleanser. Like, just makes it so nice to just relaxingly put together something that just comes together and looks great. And I'm sure that somebody is going to really enjoy this. Oh, in order to get it started though, one of there's an orange, it was on the left hand side of the loop, had to go over to the right, and one of the pinks had to go over to the left. So that's a little something to do. That's why you end up with the type of loop that I have. And this works because I double up my floss. If you were trying to go single-stranded, you would have a lot harder time actually pulling this off. So just in case you didn't know, if you're going single-stranded, I guess you would do like a tassel on either end of the bracelet, because there's only the couple strands of each of the colors. So, well, yeah, no, it really have to have. No. I guess if you looped one strand over the loop, you'd still have to flip it to either side, I guess. I hadn't really thought that through before I tried telling you how to do it. Yes, you could do this, but you still have to have the same kind of loop. You still have to move the threads off to the sides, because there are 2 of each. So yes, it would work in single strand. I just really prefer doubling it up. It just makes a thicker knot, a little bit thicker bracelet that tends to last longer. Also, you don't need as many knots to complete the whole project. To be honest, it goes a little faster as a result of that. Like when it's smaller, there's more knots per inch. So, and I keep my bracelets all around the same length anyways, so that's a thing as well. It's not my biggest deciding factor, but it does definitely come into play. So yeah, that's about it, really. It's the strings were used for the most part evenly, although there was some longer black ones that didn't get used as much, and I'm not sure where that fell into the whole overall design, but there was a couple of black ones that were longer than the rest, but everything else balanced out pretty evenly, so that was all right. So yeah, my tassels were plenty long. I didn't have to worry about running out of string or anything, so that's good. It was made on one of my days off, so nobody got to watch this one live. That's one of the things, like, I do stream during the week for my members, and that reminds me, let me thank the members for making this possible. They had this added little bonus where they can actually watch in real time me making bracelets or doing other behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, this was more or less one of my days off that I found myself working in, so there isn't a behind the scene for this one. But yeah, that's one of the bonuses of being a member. It's like $4 a month, so it's not terribly expensive. That's like, if you get good coffee, it's probably less than a good coffee. I like good coffee. I don't get to do it more than maybe once a week, once every couple weeks, maybe. But yeah, I would sacrifice that for this. It's what I do. What else can I tell you? Hang on. Speaking of coffee, yeah, so this is it. I'm kind of going through patterns that I find interesting and seeing what I can kind of do with it and showing how I can kind of balance it out. And like this one, the start and the end are the same, and it just balances out perfectly. Now, does that necessary? No. Does it make it look a little bit more presentable? I think so. I think it really does. I think that anybody who really takes a good look at this are bound to tell that there's something about it. They may not know how balanced it is. They may not realize that how the start and the end are sort of the same. But I suspect that, like, subconsciously they look at this and they're going to feel like, there's something interesting that this young man has done. Well, I was young. Not so much anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's why I do it. I do it because it just looks a little more professional. I told a friend when I was back in the 80s, back when I started doing this, the late 80s, when I first started doing this, that I wanted to be the best. And they insisted then I had to improve how I did my loops, make it nicer looking, and know my stuff. And over the years, I'm probably not the best. There's a lot of great knotters out there making a lot of amazing stuff. However, I'm not too bad. I'm probably, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've made some crazy large projects. I've got a 5-foot one hanging on my wall. So yeah, I've done crazier things over time, and I've learned a few things along the way. I like to share that with you guys. That's what the whole channel is about, is sharing what I learn. And like this one, I learned that there was a fun way of segmenting it that made it go quickly. I think that if I hadn't picked up on that, this thing would have taken well over an hour, but getting a handle on it, figuring it out, it's what I like to do. So there you go. We're getting towards the end here, I think. Not 100%. Here it is. Yeah, towards the end. So then it'll be the big reveal. You get to check it out. If you have patterns you want me to try, you're welcome to submit them in. You can do that over on Discord. And there was me counting out how far along I was. You can send it over on Discord, and we can take a look and see. I really don't want to do crazy 40-string bracelets per se. It just takes a really long time and makes it really hard to kind of schedule anything else in my time while doing one big project, because that might take a few days just to do the making part of it. So smaller ones preferably. But I mean, if it's something truly you're curious about, we can see. I mean, periodically, I guess it's okay. So just a thought there. A couple rows left. That's it. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, please hit the like button. It's a little gesture that you can do that can actually help the channel a lot. And I definitely appreciate that more than you know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.